So, hello, our viewers, our YouTube channel viewers. Here we are again with our second video. Concerning the mixers, and we are here at Decibel Sounds. This is class number 2 concerning the powered mixers. So today we're going to focus on something else. We want to focus on outputs. Last time we talked about the inputs. We talked about the frequencies. We talked about the decibels and a few things. So today I want to talk about the outputs that are found in a powered mixer. So let's okay, so today we are using this one. It's called it's still a Decibel Audio SMX DMX 1200. It's a powered mixer that has 12 input channels. Last time we were using a 16 input channels. So today we shall be using the 12 input channels. So we talked about all this. This is what we call the input. This is what we call the input. We have the XLR. I think I did not mention that. So these are called the XLR. The XLR are these ones. So these are the XLRs, and they come into two types. There's what we call the male and the female. So what I'm holding right now is called a male XLR. Then this one is called a female input for XLR. But normally there are other XLRs that look like this, but are female. So this is what we call a female XLR. So males get into the female inputs like that. Okay, so that is it. These are called the XLR inputs. These are called the jack inputs. These are balanced. These are more balanced. These are unbalanced. Okay, so these are called the jack pin inputs. So this is how a jack pin looks like. And then jack pins comes into many types. This is called a mono jack pin. The others that are called stereo, that are normally used for outputs. I'll explain that later. But most of the inputs, these ones, you are supposed to use a mono jack input. So how to know difference between a mono and a stereo? There's this ring over here. So this is a mono jack pin. It has a single ring. Normally for the stereo it has two. Comes with this ring and another one here. So it's normally 2 rings. So these are inputs for the jacks, inputs for the XLRs. Recommendations: if you're using microphones, either wired or wireless, I'd recommend you use the XLRs. They are more clear, they are more balanced, they sound better when they are coming from the XLRs. If you have keyboards, guitars, music, if you're playing music, I'd recommend you use the jack inputs. Okay, because normally they have too much. The force is too much. So it's advisable to use these ones. It will bring the sound lower a bit. So these ones will magnify a lot and you might end up getting distortions. So for microphones you can use the XLRs, but for other stuff like keyboards, guitars and stuff, use the jack pin inputs. It's always better. So we talked about the inputs, so I'll not repeat that. Then there are mixers, just to note, that comes with the mic inputs. So either it's written mic, others are written line. Then there are also other mixers that have something called insert. Let me look for one. Like this one. This one has XLR. Then it has line. Here. It has line here. And then it has insert. So if you put an input here and you expect it to work from the channel, it might not work because it's supposed to come inside the line input. So insert has a different function, all the same. For example, if you have a compressor, I'll explain later what a compressor is. But if you have a compressor, if whatever you want to put on this line has too much noise and you need it compressed, you put this signal here, input, not really input, the insert. Then you send the signal to your compressor. So when it comes back, you put it in line here. Okay, after now being compressed, when you're taking the outputs from the main output, it will pick insert. It will pick insert in favor of the line input. Okay, so whatever will come out will already be compressed. So that is the work of the insert input. So let's come back here. So that is it for that one. Then now we're going to talk about the outputs. So these are the two main outputs. They are called the main left and the main right. Now remember, we are using a powered mixer. A powered mixer, we said it's like a self-contained. It has its own amplifier. So you can get speakers from here. You can get at least 4 speakers for this particular mixer. But now in case where you have more than 4 speakers, you can get a separate amplifier. This is what we call an amplifier. So you can take signals from this one, that's the main left and the main right, that's called the stereo out. So either the XLRs or with the jack pins. So you can take a signal from here and send it directly to your amplifier, so that now when you control from the main left and the main right, you'll be driving both speakers that are coming from the mixer and the ones that will be coming from the amplifier, which will have been fed from the mixer. So these are called the main outputs that are normally controlled from the main left and the main right. All right, so either with the XLRs or with the jack pins. Then here is another form of output still. It's called the record output. Assuming you have a laptop and you want to record whatever is coming in here, so you want to take it out, probably to your laptop or to your phone or to any recording device, you can be able to get the signal from here, from the record output, normally controlled by the main right and the main left as well. And this is another form of output. Is called the auxiliary. This is very important. It's a separate form of output. And if you want to go live, let me give an example of live. You want to live stream, it's easier to take your signal from the auxiliary than from the main, because from the main you'll mean that everything that comes in here is coming out from this one. Okay, so it's a bit hard sometimes to control whatever is coming out from here. This one picks everything that is coming in from the inputs. But if you are going to use the auxiliary, let me show you from the lines. So this is what we call the channel input. There's something called auxiliary. Yes, so this one is an auxiliary stroke send. So if you want this particular input, for example this music, if you want to send this one specifically to the auxiliary output, you will have to adjust the knob. Okay, it's like you're increasing the volume, that one. So once you have sent the auxiliary signal and you're taking it out from the send here, which is now the auxiliary, to wherever it's going to, you can be able to manipulate that signal alone. Perhaps let's say channel number 2, you don't want this signal to go to your auxiliary, so you'll do away with this. Maybe channel 3 you want that one a bit, you can do a bit of it. Then this one maybe you don't want, you do away with it. So you can be able to control your auxiliary outputs separately from your main outputs. Okay, that is it. So that is the auxiliary, and then it has its own master, which is somewhere here. It's here. It's written auxiliary send. So this is the master. So if you pull this one off and you do all those blah blah blahs, you will not get any signal going out. So this it. Okay, so this is called the auxiliary send. So you can be able to control whatever you want from the send auxiliary. Another form of output is called the headphones, and it's here. It's here. Normally it's very advisable when you're doing all this, you have headphones on standby. Whatever is happening before it goes, you can be able to listen to the balance, you can be able to listen to any form of distortion, and be able to correct it before it goes, or before you send it to whatever destination you want it to go to. So it's advisable you use your headphones. So this is the headphone output, all right, and this is the volume for the headphone. So most of these particular mixers comes with Bluetooth, USB, and this is the input for the USB. And then there's a screen here that has controllers. You can see there it has Bluetooth, you can do recording and stuff, blah 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 blah. So to control this one, if you want to To use Bluetooth, you just come and select, like now it's on Bluetooth. You just press play. So it's saying there's no device. So if I had put my device on, it will automatically connect to the Bluetooth. So that's a form of input. There's a controller here for all that. It's for the MP3s now, the USB, the Bluetooth, everything. You control it via this knob. Normally written either MP3, Bluetooth, or something like that. Okay. And I think we are done. With this particular one. We said this is an indicator. It has some equalizers. I think I'll finish up with this one. So the equalizers are still a form of frequency. They are used to balance the frequencies. Okay. So these numbers you can see over here, from the 63 hertz to 15 hertz. These are called frequency. They're called the frequency range. Okay. So normally we said the frequencies are divided into three: the high, the mid, and the low. And the easiest way to do this, it's always divide them into three. So take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 divided by 3, so we'll assume that's like a 6. So each 2, 2, 2, and 1 will take 3. That's how the division of the frequencies are. So these two, the first two are representing the high frequencies. Then 1, 2, 3, the mid frequencies. Then these are the low frequencies from the 63 hertz. Very low frequency, you can notice. This is 63 hertz. This is very high frequency because this is a 15 kilohertz. Okay, so this is very, very high frequency. So these two are representing the low frequencies, and that's it. So you balance according to how you feel. What you feel you need is what you add or what you reduce. So this for the right channel, this for the left channel, and these numbers, if you can remember from the last topic, we said this is minus 12 dB, this 0 dB, then this is plus 12 dB. So always be cautious not to do so much dBs from your equalizer. Okay, so avoid doing so much for you to be able to get quality sound. So reduce the dBs, but then as you listen as well, because that will depend with your speakers as well. So that is it with the equalizers, with the phone jacks and everything. So these mixers are different. We have different types of mixers. If you have a mixer, a powered mixer, that is different from what we've just shown, and you have a question that you would like us to address, take a picture of your mixer, send it to us either via WhatsApp, even via the comment section. Write to us your question and we can be able to assist where we can. And yeah, that is it. So it's a wrap for today. Next week we take it a notch higher. We will now focus on something different. And one more thing I think I forgot to mention about the Specon. I think I'll address this one now. So normally we talked about this one. They are called Specons. These are a form of output. These are pin that is used for feeding the speakers. It's called a Specon. Locally we call them Specons. You can either use the Specons or you can also use the jack pin from here to get your signal going into your speakers. But I'd personally recommend the Specons or the Specons because they are more safe and they are more firm. There's no way you can be able to pull this one out. Sorry. If you want to pull it out, you have to unlock from here like that. To put it in, you put it back in place and you twist it. So even if accidentally someone steps on the cable, there's no way this pin is coming out. You can see. And then they are well kept from the inside. The terminals are quite tough. You can't easily get out the cable. So how do you wire these ones from the inside? This cable has only two wires. It has a red, which is live, which is a positive, and a negative. So I'll show you the last thing, then we can call it a day. So I'm calling for help. I want to show you how to wire these Specons. So I'll get someone to help me. So you untie the lead like that. So normally it has 4 terminals, if you can be able to see. There are numbers that are inside these 4 screws. I might try to zoom in but I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. Can you? No, you can't. Yes, you can. So if you can see clearly, there's a +1. It's supposed to be a +2. No, a plus. Yes, a +2. This +1. This is supposed to be -1. Sorry, this one over here. Then these two are +1 and +2 and -2. Sorry. So normally for all these speakers that you see over here, we use. Let me take that. Okay. So for all these speakers, we normally use +1 and -1. So to get it, there are numbers that are indicated below these screws. Always use a +1 and a -1. So this cable over here, this guy is good. He's doing a good job. He's called Minor. He's doing a good job. So normally most of the cables will look like this. There's a red and there's a blue. But you can also find others that are red and black, red and whatever. So always remember, red is for positive. Okay? So make these terminals as short as you can. Then with your screwdriver, you open these screws. So always use +1 and -1. +1, -1. So +1 is written here. Below here, it's only that I cannot be able to clearly zoom it in. But the easiest way to know, you see this Kashini, what do you call this? Whatever it's called, this one. Wherever it is, the first two that you see, it's usually the +1 and the -1. The first two, these and these. Okay, so even if you don't read, these usually are a 1 and a 1. So the only thing you have to check in is the plus for the sake of polarity. So the red one goes into +1. The blue one, -1. Is it for today. So it's a wrap. We go. And next time we tackle another mixer. Or we can tackle your questions if you have a powered mixer. Because there's not so much in a powered mixer. So we want to tackle the plain mixers, equalizers, crossovers, speakers and stuff. Yep, so that is it. It's a wrap. Have yourself a good day, a good evening, a good night, depending with whatever time you're watching this video. And it's Minor. Tell people bye-bye.
Yeah, we say bye-bye. Welcome to Decibel Audio.
Yeah.
This is a home of quality sound.
Yes.
And we make a sound decision. Thank you very much for watching.
Exactly. Cheers, guys.